The other day, I was with a friend and we were listening to some music, and he made the comment that there were a lot of songs out these days that were quite narcissistic. There were people, the lyrics were people talking about how wonderful they were. And I said, well, actually, we were listening to my playlist, and I had selected a lot of songs like that. But it got me thinking. His comment, I thought, was quite interesting, that the idea that it's narcissistic to think well of yourself. That it's narcissistic to say I love me, or to talk about that I'm great. I'm amazing. And I just thought it was really interesting that, we think it's good to compliment other people, to say that other people are amazing, to give to other people, to love other people unconditionally, and, to think highly of other people. And yet there is this pervasive belief that it is wrong to think that way about ourselves. That if we think highly of ourselves, we are narcissistic. We are full of ourselves. We are up ourselves. We are, there's that concept that it is a flaw in some way to think highly of ourselves, to admire ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, to love ourselves. And I thought, when you think about it like that, it doesn't actually make sense. That it's a good thing to think that way of other people, but it's not good to think that way about ourselves. And I thought, where does that come from? Why do we think that? I think a lot of it comes from actually control, that of other people trying to control the masses, in terms of history, in terms of that whole idea of someone who thinks poorly of themselves is actually less confident. They are weaker. They are more easily manipulated, more easily persuaded to another person's point of view, more easily controlled, basically. And, throughout history, there have been many, many leaders who have sought to control large groups of people. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to first undermine their belief in themselves. It may come from other things as well. I think it's quite an interesting concept. That one of the things that I struggle with, and I know a lot of other people that I've talked to struggle with. So there's the whole thing of, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, not, focusing on our flaws more than our strengths. And I think a lot of the reason we do that is because we think it's somehow wrong to think well of ourselves. That we've been taught that it's a pervasive belief in society. And so maybe it's time to ask, is that belief accurate? Where does it come from? Who is it serving? Certainly not serving you. And this is something I still, it's still there a little bit for me. I am step by step overcoming that belief and feeling more and more comfortable thinking highly of myself and thinking well of myself and appreciating myself. It has been a journey, an ongoing journey to accept that I am allowed to do that. But what I found is that when you do that, when you do allow yourself, and when you do begin to appreciate yourself in that way, life changes in amazing ways. You change in amazing ways. It's like life becomes a path of open doors instead of closed ones. So it's my thought. It's been my thinking lately that I just wanted to share. That first step is just encouraging you to question beliefs that you take for granted that don't serve you. Now that's all. Just begin to question them. Just because you believe something doesn't mean it's true. Just because a lot of people believe something doesn't mean it's true. And you are allowed to choose thoughts that serve you. And a belief is simply a thought that you've repeated over and over. It's just a thought that's become embedded and automatic. So you have the power to change that. You have the power to choose what you think. And you have the power to choose to think new thoughts. You are allowed to think thoughts that serve you, that make you feel good. So reach for better feeling thoughts. In the words of Abraham Hicks, that's what they encourage. Just reach for a better feeling thought. Take a step in that direction. Be open to possibilities. And have a great day. Feel good.